Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. Today I'm going to be giving you the complete full entire breakdown. I don't know how many other words I can say that signify this is an all-encompassing breakdown of everything you should expect to hear and see from Bethesda Softworks as a whole in 2021, with a focus on E3 2021 as well. And let's not waste any time and break this down because we got a lot of information to go through regarding all of this. If you're curious about what you should expect to hear or see from any of the Bethesda Softworks studios, including Bethesda Game Studios, then this is a video for you. Go ahead and get your mead, your skooma, mix it together, pour it on your face, throw it out your window, run from cliff racers that you're just hallucinating, whatever you do for fun before you fire up a long video. And let's get to today's information. Now, I will try to contain all of today's information to actual confirmable information. However, there's going to be a healthy portion of that speculation salt stuff because obviously this is involving Bethesda, and there's no way you're going to talk about any up-and-coming Bethesda stuff unless you run heavy with that speculation. And we're going to start today's video off with some of the less heavy speculation stuff, which is Tango Gameworks. We know what we're going to be getting next from Tango Gameworks, and that is, of course, Ghostwire Tokyo. And thanks to the CES 2021 Sony showcase, we now know that Ghostwire Tokyo will be released in October of 2021, and keep in mind that Ghostwire Tokyo will be a timed exclusive to the PlayStation 5 for about a year or so, and it'll come out for the Xbox and the PC later on, which is weird because obviously Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft, but Microsoft chose to honor any previous agreements, probably because legally I'm sure that they had to a certain degree. But nonetheless, we know that Ghostwire is Tango's next game, and with that in mind, I think that Ghostwire will have a pretty big presence at E3 2021 this year. And in terms of what comes next after Ghostwire Tokyo, whatever it is, I doubt we'll see it at E3 2021 because there's a lot of Bethesda stuff that'll go down at E3 this year. But regardless, a lot of people want The Evil Within 3, another Evil Within game, and even though they want that, I still doubt that's going to happen anytime soon either. It might. However, in recent interviews with Shinji Mikami, creative director over at Tango and creative director of Ghostwire, it seems like he is more interested in making an entire new IP, like an original game that is his creation, his vision, as his final thing before leaving the game development industry. However, there's no sign that this is going to happen anytime soon, so The Evil Within is still like the most likely scenario, but I still have the feeling we'll see something new from Shinji Mikami, but that's just my speculation moment. Who knows next what to expect from Tango after Ghostwire, but either way, I am super hyped for Ghostwire, and if the game is good, hopefully it's something that Tango will release future expansions and DLC for. I gotta activate glasses mode for this next stuff because we're talking about MachineGames, and there's a little bit more than you'd expect to go through regarding MachineGames' future content. Obviously, judging by all the buzz lately, Bethesda has announced they are making an Indiana Jones game, which is being developed by MachineGames in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games as well, and Todd Howard is the executive producer, and this is going to be an original story set in the Indiana Jones universe, so I'm super hyped to see what that's going to be, and that kind of leaves a lot of questions because a lot of people were wanting Wolfenstein 3 to be the next game from MachineGames, and Wolfenstein is somewhat underrated in my opinion because it's a great game. It has an interesting story. It does a good job telling you the story. It has interesting characters. It's pretty funny. The shooting is great. The gameplay is great. So I would love to see Wolfenstein 3 as well. And some people believe that Pete Hines back in 2018 low-key confirmed that Wolfenstein 3 was in development back then. However, I think people are kind of twisting his words a bit. I think he was just saying that they definitely will 100% make Wolfenstein 3 at some point. It'll happen, and probably at some point soon, but I don't think he was saying it was actively in development, but that just could be my take on things. And according to some Bethesda employee activity over on LinkedIn, MachineGames is currently working on like multiple active projects, so I suppose maybe they are working on Wolfenstein 3 alongside the Indiana Jones game. However, I don't think MachineGames is as large as some of the other Bethesda Softworks studios, so I don't know if they would be making multiple huge games at once. Maybe Wolfenstein 3 is in like the early development phases and Indiana Jones is their next main game, or maybe they were making Wolfenstein 3 and Bethesda kind of made them put Wolfenstein 3 to the side so they can focus on Indiana Jones, because it seems like the Indiana Jones game was pitched at some point last year, which means that if that was the case, MachineGames would have had to have been working on something before the Indiana Jones games was pitched, or maybe the Indiana Jones game is going to come out after Wolfenstein 3. But either way, in my opinion, I have the feeling that Indiana Jones is the next game we're going to see from MachineGames, and we might get another trailer at E3 2021. And Bethesda usually teases something around now that they would show later on in the year at E3, so that's another good piece of evidence we might hear more about this Indiana Jones game at E3 this year, and that's probably what we would see from MachineGames if we would see anything at all. We might get a Wolfenstein 3 teaser though, I mean that's always possible, but I still place my bet on an Indiana Jones trailer from MachineGames this year, not a Wolfenstein one. Next up we got Arkane, and there's Arkane Lyon and Arkane Austin, two studios with different projects going on, and as most of you know already, Arkane Lyon is making Deathloop. Deathloop is set to release on May 21st this year, which means way before E3 2021. However, that doesn't mean they may tease or announce new content, DLC expansions, whatever, for Deathloop at E3 this year, or they may announce whatever Arkane is working on after Deathloop, because Arkane is actually working on stuff. In fact, a lot of people want Dishonored 3, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think what we're going to see next from Arkane after Deathloop will be from Arkane Austin, because Arkane Austin is currently in development of a game right now. However, it seems like Arkane Austin is actually working on some kind of fantasy game using the Unreal 4 engine, which a lot of people think might be like an Arx Fatalis reboot, but there's no evidence that that might be the case either. However, no one knows what this game is. I mean, I guess Arx Fatalis did kind of get some attention from Bethesda recently, but they didn't say they were making a new game in the universe, and it would be kind of interesting to have two first-person, fantasy-style games from Bethesda, because you got Bethesda Game Studios with the Elder Scrolls, and then you would have Arkane with Arx Fatalis. It would just be interesting to see if Zenimax allows that to happen, but Microsoft has been saying they want their RPG game to be upped a lot. They want to have a lot more RPGs on the Xbox and on the PC, and it seems like if they allowed Arkane to have a first-person RPG as well as Bethesda Game Studios, that would make that happen. But either way, Arkane Austin is working on some kind of fantasy game set in the Unreal 4 engine, so I believe that might be what we hear next from Arkane after Deathloop. Also, there are rumors that Arkane Austin could have been working on whatever the cancelled version of Prey 2 was a long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that trailer that looked really awesome where you were like a space bounty hunter, but there's rumors that Arkane Austin could be working on Prey 2, which is supposed to be what the cancelled version of Prey 2 was a long time ago, before Bethesda got involved with the Prey franchise. However, the reason that it's dark out when I'm doing this is because I'm adding this part to the video after the fact, so that's why it's suddenly darker when I talk about Prey. But to be honest, I don't think we're going to see whatever this new project is at E3 this year. It might be something we see teased for the first time in 2022, because Bethesda has a lot of stuff going down at E3 this year, but who knows, we might see whatever Arkane's next project is after Deathloop. But in my opinion, Deathloop is going to have a longer shelf life than that, and we would hear of future Deathloop content at E3 this year if we're going to hear anything from Arkane at all. Next up is id Studios, and id Studios does actually have two studios as well. A lot of people don't know, but id Studios Frankfurt has been working on id Studios next-gen game engine for a long time, and we might actually see what this game engine is capable of in their whatever they're making next after Doom Eternal. But to be honest, I don't think we're gonna see any new game from id Studios for a while. I think that Doom Eternal is going to be the spotlight from id Studios for a long time, because it seems like, based upon the wording they've used and just what they've been saying about Doom Eternal, that the game would have a pretty long shelf life, you could say, and that there will be a lot of future multiplayer and single-player content for the game. So with that in mind, we might see what Doom Eternal's next single-player DLC expansion could be teased at E3 2021, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's hard to say what could come next from id Studios. I still think it's going to be focused on Doom Eternal, but with id Studios in mind, there is still that Commander Keen mobile game that has gone dark since E3 2019. It had somewhat of a lackluster reception. I know the crowd didn't get too excited for it when I was there in the audience at E3 2019, and it kind of has just gone silent since. There's been no talk, I think, about it for a long time, even last year in 2020. So maybe it's been abandoned, canceled, or maybe they're gonna revamp it and rebuild it from the ground up and show us what the new version of what this Commander Keen game will be at E3 2021. 2021. But the gaming community usually doesn't get too excited for mobile games, so maybe they're gonna do like a Commander Keen game that isn't mobile, who knows, but it's just something to keep in mind, and something that has still existed, not officially been cancelled yet, I don't think, so we might see it again at E3 2021. Also, there are rumors that id Studios is making a single-player Quake game as well, but nothing confirmed on that yet, but that's another thing to keep in mind. A lot of people want Rage 3, but that's something I don't think we're going to see for a while, especially hearing all these like Quake single-player rumors, but either way, low-key chance of Quake single-player content as well at E3 2021, but still, chances are very low, and I have many doubt. Next up, we got Zenimax Online Studios. I know a lot of you want me to talk about Bethesda Game Studios. I saved them for last, but Zenimax Online Studios actually has a couple interesting things going on. Elder Scrolls Online has even more content coming this year. It's amazing to see just how much Elder Scrolls Online has grown since it was released a long time ago. The game is a great online game. I'm very picky with MMOs, but Elder Scrolls Online is a great game, has a great community, and as you can see, it keeps getting content non-stop, and the Gates of Oblivion expansion was announced at the Game Awards in December of 2021 and is set to have a 2021 release date. The expansion is also set to have a major reveal on January 26th as well, so that's something to mark on your calendar if you want to know more about this game. But with that in mind, I would assume we would see more content related to the Gates of Oblivion expansion for the Elder Scrolls Online at E3 2021 as well, especially if it hasn't been released yet before E3. And then another thing to keep in mind is Zenimax Online Studios has been working on some kind of new mysterious online MMORPG for a long time now, and last year there have been a ton of like job postings, so Zenimax Online Studios underwent a gigantic hiring spree. So if there's any sign that they're starting work on this new project, or at least going into full development mode for this new project, I would assume that this gigantic hiring spree would be like a sign of that, because they would still want to make Elder Scrolls Online content alongside this new game, and if anything's evident of them working on these two games at once, it would be a gigantic hiring spree. But with that in mind, I still don't think we're going to see anything to do with this new game yet at E3 2021. If we do, it might be a teaser, because I mean, they are hiring a lot of people for it, so they may tease it, but it's still something we wouldn't see for a long time, which makes me not think we'll see a teaser for it this year. Anything at BE3 2021 that's from Zenimax Online Studios would probably still be focused on the Elder Scrolls Online and the Gates of Oblivion expansion. And now that brings us to Bethesda Game Studios, who have 3 locations we gotta go through. We got Maryland, we got Montreal, and we got Austin. Now, I'm gonna start stuff off with Montreal because we kinda already know what they're doing. Supposedly, they're working on a new game, so whatever that is, we might hear about it at E3 2021 as well. However, chances are pretty low that that's gonna be the case. And it's suddenly dark now, because I'm adding this part after the fact. I went back and added some stuff to the video because I wanted this video to be all-encompassing of all the different rumors and stuff, just in case there's something I missed out. So it's dark because the world is mad. I had to do an annotation and add this after I already edited most of my video. But Bethesda Game Studios Montreal are actually working on a new game with Bethesda Game Studios Austin, and I believe this game will actually be an online game, because Bethesda Game Studios Austin seems to be the actual online studio for Bethesda Game Studios. And before Bethesda Game Studios Austin was actually acquired by Bethesda, they were Battlecry Studios, and Battlecry Studios was making a game also called Battlecry, which was like an online shooter game similar to Overwatch, it looked like. And because Bethesda Game Studios Montreal is working with Bethesda Game Studios Austin on this new mysterious game, I believe it'll most likely be an online game as well. And there is a mysterious Bethesda trademark for a game called Spy Team that hasn't been announced yet, and we knew about Deathloop before it was announced in a similar way when I discovered the trademark. So Spy Team is no doubt going to get announced at some point soon, and judging by the name Spy Team, it seems like it would be an online game, maybe where there's different teams of spies, like all fighting each other and trying to accomplish the same objective at the same time. That's kind of my speculation and what I think Spy Team could be. But remember, this is all speculation. We don't know what this new Bethesda Game Studios Montreal and Bethesda Game Studios Austin game would be, and since BGS Austin is still knee-deep in all that awesome Fallout 76 content, I don't think we'll hear about this new Bethesda Game Studios Montreal game for probably at least another year. But now let's get to Bethesda Game Studios in Austin. And then Bethesda Game Game Studios Austin just released the Steel Dawn update for Fallout 76, so we might actually not get any huge, substantial Fallout 76 related announcements at E3 this year, and a few months before E3 2021, Season 4 updates for Fallout 76 are set to drop as well. So I don't know what we would see from Fallout 76 at E3 2021 unless it would be like Bethesda teasing the next major content, the next major expansion for Fallout 76, but I still think that might be a little too early. But Fallout 76 is another game that keeps getting constant updates, which is a good thing, so we might see a teaser or a trailer for the next expansion after Steel Dawn, but either way, that's still set deep in speculation cell territory. We also still have the Elder Scrolls Blades floating around out there, and there have been recent job postings for Bethesda Game Studios that are related to mobile games, so we might see more Elder Scrolls Blades content, and Fallout Shelter still exists. Maybe they're going to do more with Fallout Shelter. But in regards to what I think the shining star or the main focus of Bethesda's E3 2021 presence will be this year. I don't know why I say E3 2021 and then say this year. Obviously, it's this year, Skullzi, you idiot. But what I think Bethesda's main focus will be at E3 this year will be Starfield. I believe that all the Bethesda banners at E3 this year will have Starfield on it. It'll have that circle with Starfield typed on it. I mean, I guess the logo isn't really that special, but it is cool. It's just when you describe it, it seems kind of boring. But I'm sure we're going to see that logo all over the place at E3 this year, and Bethesda will start teasing Starfield in the months leading up till E3 as well. And we'll probably get a gigantic, like, 20-minute showcase for Starfield, showing us the lore, showing us the gameplay, showing us, like, how good these next-gen Bethesda graphics are going to be, and hopefully animations are going to be, because we know this game's going to be using a new animation system, I believe, or at least rebuilt animation systems based upon statements from Todd Howard. And I'm just super hyped for this because Starfield is like one of the first new universes franchises from Bethesda Game Studios in like ever like 20 plus freaking years. So I'm super hyped to see what Bethesda can create with all the access to modern technology that Todd Howard has been saying he has been waiting for a long time. And I love sci-fi, I love space epics, and that's exactly what Bethesda is describing Starfield as, the next great space epic, and I just can't wait to see what this game is. I know I would just keep paraphrasing how hyped I am for this game and that I can't wait to see it, but it's honest hype. I hope as many of you are as hyped for this game as possible, and even though Bethesda has in no way at all confirmed we would be seeing Starfield this year or anytime soon, there is a ton of evidence that I've been breaking down over the channel and that the community kind of knows about as well that seems to pinpoint that Starfield will release in November of 2021, which is this year. There I am talking about it being the same year again. But the fact is that if Bethesda releases a game in a year, they're going to be marketing the game the same year. That's what they've always done in the least of all circumstances, if not marketing it before that year. And I believe that Starfield is going to take the focus of E3 2021, not just based in Bethesda content, but in the entirety of 2021. Because think about it, even people who aren't in the know about Bethesda or gaming news, when you think Bethesda, you think Fallout and you think the Elder Scrolls. If you're not like invested in the gaming news and then you only follow the E3 stuff, you might hear about Starfield for the first time at E3 this year, and if you do, you're going to see this huge freaking new experience from Bethesda, and you're just going to be focused on that. And if you are engraved into the Bethesda and gaming news like I am, and like a lot of you are if you're watching this video, then even if you do see Starfield for the first time, having known about it for a while, your jaw will still drop because you're finally seeing this mythical beast that has existed but eluded everyone for years. So that's why I think that 2021 will be the year of Starfield, and E3 2021 will be all focused on Starfield as well, at least in my opinion. And that's what I think you should expect to see from Bethesda this year. And there's a lot of stuff I went through in this video. I'm sorry if I went through it a little quick. There's just a lot to go through, and I didn't want people to think I was trying to like unauthentically like lengthen the time of my video. A lot of people say my videos are a little long, but I do like to try to get as in detail as possible, and I try to make my videos unscripted so they're more natural, more like me talking to you. Literally, I don't have any script for any of these videos. I just make sure I just make sure I get all the information in my head so I can break it down for you. But that's everything I wanted to talk about today. As of right now, as of the time I'm uploading this video, in mid-January 2021, this is everything you should expect to see from Bethesda Softworks as a whole at E3 2021 or just this year in general. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. What are you the most hyped to see? And if you enjoy the content, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And if you want to help grow the channel and the community, be sure to share this video and the channel, as to be honest, the YouTube algorithm will only really pick up a channel if the community shares the content. So if you can share this video, if you can share the channel, make sure that you're still subscribed and try to get other people to subscribe as well. And of course, give the video a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and you would really be helping the channel out a lot. And speaking of appreciation, huge shout out and thank you to these amazing people for going above and beyond to bring you content like this. If you want to get your name added to this list and get a permanent video shout out in literally every single one of my videos from this point forward, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. I'll be updating this list with people who have supported the channel here recently, so if you want to get your name added to the next list that will be featured in all my future videos, now is the time to do it. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when... It's been a while since I said it, so you know I gotta say it. The hype is assuming direct control.
It just works.